everyone. We're out here again outside where we were last week. Last time we taught Nikki how to walk without pulling and to come quickly when I called her. Also to ignore a bunny rabbit. We did all that by teaching her first to touch my hand, targeting. So today we're going to have some fun. We're going to teach her tricks. First trick is to spin. First, I just want to reinforce the stand because she loves to lay down on her blanket. I put the blanket out here so you can see her a little better. So I'm going to ask Nikki to stand. I'm going to click just for the stand. And then we're going to take a treat, put it in our hand, and make a circle. As I say to her, Nikki, touch. And as she touches my hand, I'm going to open my hand and give her a treat. We're going to do that again. We're going to say, Nikki, touch. So now we're going to do it without a treat. No treat this time. Nikki, touch. So that's a nice, easy one to teach. And your dog can learn it very quickly because they know that touching your hand is what you want. Second one is to go to her mat. This is a really interesting one because it is a trick, but it's also so very useful. She likes her mat anyway, so it's going to make it easier. But I'm going to get her to touch my little disc. I'm going to say to her, Nikki, touch. I'm going to move it around a little bit, put it in a different hand. Nikki, touch. And if your dog doesn't quite want to touch the disc in the beginning, they can touch part of your hand. You can put just a little Post-it on your hand. They can touch that, but we're going to get her to touch this again. Nikki, touch. Good. She knows that touching this is what I want. I'm going to put this on the blanket, and I'm going to say to her, Nikki, touch. Good. And she's touching the disc on the blanket. So I'm going to toss a treat away and say to her, take it. Nikki, touch. Good. So this is a great way to get your dog to come back to the blanket faster if you want to teach your dog place. Now the goal will be to leave the target on the blanket and for me to step further away. So let's see what happens this time. Take it. Okay. Nikki, go to your mat. Touch. Good. So you can see how it works well for you. So that's a useful one you can do. All it took was a little coaster. Have you ever taught your dog peekaboo? Get them to go behind you, go through your legs? Well, let's do that with teaching your dog targeting. So first, I'm going to say to her, touch. Good. Then I'm going to help her a little bit. And I'm going to say to her, touch. Good. And I'm going to feed her. And then I'm going to draw my hand through. Nikki, here. Not that way, sweetie. Over here. Good girl. I know. Here. Good girl. Good girl. Touch. Good. And I'm going to feed her. Good girl. Good job. Here, here, here. Good. I'm going to reward her for standing between my legs so she knows that is what I want her to do. A fun trick you may want to teach your dog is to crawl. Down. Good girl. I've been rewarding for the stand, so now I've got a reward for the behavior I want, which is for her to lie down. So any behavior you want, that's what you reward for. And the little click helps her to realize I'm not supposed to stand anymore. We're not going to do the spin. We're going to do something different. So now once I get her to understand that she's supposed to be lying down, then I'm going to take a treat, fold it in just as I did in the beginning, and just put it very close to her nose and ask her to touch. Touch. Good. And I'm going to feed her. I have the blankets out so you can see her. I thought it would be easier than in the grass. And we're going to do it again. Touch. Good. And you can see how she's moving her back feet, but she's not standing up. Now let's see if we can get her to go 2 steps. Nikki, touch. Good. She's not standing up because I've rewarded the down. That's the key to this. Just the same as rewarding the stand if you want her to spin. So I'm going to reward the down again. And then we're going to take a treat, fold it so she can't see it, and say, Nikki. And she got up a little bit there. So we're going to try it again. Nikki, touch. Good girl. Okay. This time we're going to see if we can get her to crawl a step with nothing in my hand. Nikki, good job. And then I will go back to my pouch and give her a treat. Of course, the object is to get her to crawl the length of the blankets. Down, good girl. Let's see if we can get a couple steps. Nikki, touch, good. Okay, great job. Nikki, touch, good girl. Okay, all right. Nikki, touch, good job. So you can see how we're getting a few more steps each time. Come back, babe, come back. Do one more time. Good girl. Good girl. Good job. Nikki, touch. Good. Good job. Okay. Nikki, touch. Good. Good job. Nikki, touch. That's it. All right, so you can see what a fun trick it is. Now, instead of feeding her all the food all the way along, free, all I did was end up feeding her 3 treats and she crawled the length of the blankets. So have fun with your dog, teaching your dog to crawl. Have you ever wanted your dog to weave through your legs? Again, it's a fun trick to do with targeting. Take a treat in one hand. You want your dog behind you, and you're going to get them to touch your hand and then turn around and feed the treat. So, my neck, back here. Good girl. Put your foot forward, get them to touch, and here, through the legs, and get them to touch. Now, your goal is to not to hold treats in your hand, so let's see what happens. Touch, and then I'm going to feed her. And then we're going to do it again. Touch, and I'm going to feed her. So she's starting to realize that I don't have to hold the food in my hand. Okay. Here, touch, good. And I'm going to feed her. Put my hand forward, touch, and I'm going to feed her. When you start asking for multiple touches, don't click or don't say yes until you've reached the one that you're going to feed. I have a treat in my hand, and when you're doing this, try to put your foot that's opposite your dog out. Otherwise, you're going to trip over your dog as you go to come forward. So we're going to come around with her behind me, and we're going to say to her, Nikki, touch. Okay, good. And we're going to say again, Nikki, touch. Here. Good. And on the third one, Nikki, touch, she's going to get a jackpot. So she did 3 touches of walking through my legs before I gave her a treat. Another fun trick for you to work with your dog. And all it takes is your dog learning to know how to touch your hand. You can stand still and have your dog do a figure 8 around you. So you can start with your dog in front of you and say to your dog, Nikki, touch. And of course, this is a new exercise, so I'm going to feed her. And then I'm going to say, Nikki, touch, and let her go through this way. And then as she comes around, I'm going to say, Nikki, touch. She has done a figure 8. I'm going to see if we can get her to go all the way through. So I would say to her, Nikki, touch, good girl. Nikki, touch, good. And so she did 2 touches for 1 treat. Nikki, touch, good girl. Nikki, touch, good. And then all the way through, good job. And she gets a jackpot. Now, Nikki has never done a figure 8 before. She just barely had done most of these exercises. So these were all her learning them today. And I really didn't know what she was going to do. But I thought, why not start with a dog that's never done these and see what happens. If you want to teach your dog to go out around something, have the object out there. I take a treat, put it in my hand, ask my dog, Nikki, touch. Good. And I'm going to give her a treat. I'm going to work further around. Good. This time with no treat in my hand, I'm going to see if I can get her to go around the cone. Nikki, touch. Good. She thinks she should touch the cone, which could be a really great game to play. Nikki, touch. Good. She needs to know that she needs to touch my hand and not the cone. Now we're going to do paw targeting next time so you can see how much fun that is as well. Nikki, touch. Good. I want her to ignore the cones right now and just around me. Nikki, touch. Good. She's only touching my hand. Nikki, touch. Good. And as we do that, Nikki, touch. Good. She'll start to forget about the cones. Nikki, touch. Good. And start to touch my hand. Touch. Good. Okay. And I will have to keep rewarding her a few times. Nikki, touch. Good. Every time I click, I give her a treat. Nikki, touch. Good. That time we got around the cones. Good. Nikki, touch. Good. So you can see how she's forgetting about the cones now because touching my hand is what I'm looking for. Touch. Good. All right. That time we got all the way around. Nikki, touch. Good. Now let's see if she can go around the cones without a treat in my hand. Okay? Nikki, touch. There. See how easy that was? So now you can send your dog out around 2 cones, and then gradually you can back away and send your dog around them from a longer distance. There we are. Another fun trick for you to add to your toolbox. If you want to see Nikki close the cabinet door, you can see the video here on how to teach a dog to touch a target. Also, last week's video on teaching your dog to target. Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed this fun video on teaching your dog tricks with targeting. Thanks and goodbye from Joyce and Nikki at Diamond Dog Training. Tell me how you are using targeting to help your dog to learn dog training and also fun tricks. Leave me a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye from Joyce and Nikki at Diamond Dog Training. Bye-bye.